What up, guys? It's the most wonderful time of the day. It's Bermondsey o'clock. And for this one, I've been to Lidl. As I said in yesterday's review, I went to visit my brother-in-law. He lives right next to a Lidl, so I picked up a few beers while I was there. And yesterday's review, which was also a Lidl beer, I asked in the comments if anybody knows any other good beers worth trying in Lidl. Somebody mentioned this one. I'm not going to lie, I didn't pick it up especially for you. It just happens to be one of the other beers I picked up while I was in Lidl. Sorry, I'm not going to lie though. It would have been a nice little love story, wouldn't it? Anyway, it's by the Four Pure brewery based in Bermondsey, and it is their Helles Lager. It's 4% ABV, 330 millilitre can, and it only costs £1.19. So keeping in mind of that cost of living thing, no one's got any money. Let's try and find some half decent cheap beers so people can still have a beer. That's what I look for in these kind of beers. I'm not going to compare them to your German bleeding beers that are like £3 a bottle and all that. It's not going to compete. I can say that already before I even try it. But it might still be half decent. And let's face it, when it comes to lagers in the UK, most of them are absolutely rubbish. So there could be a little gap in the market for a little craft lager like this, particularly at that price, a very competitive price point. Anyway, let's crack her open, shall we? And see what it's like. It said that brewed exclusively, for Lidl. So if you do want to try this particular beer, you will have to go to Lidl. It's a nice sort of banana yellow colour, isn't it? Let's crack her open and see what it's like. If you've tried this one, guys, do let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Whether you think it's good, or whether you think it's good value for that cheap price. £1.19 for a craft lager. I mean, that is very cheap, but it's no good if it's bloody horrible, is it? It needs to be half decent. I'm not going to expect it to be one of the best lagers I've ever tried or anything like that. Of course it's not going to be. But for the price, is it any good? That's what I'm here to let you know. My opinions anyway. Of course we've all got them, haven't we? A bit like bum holes. Let's look at the beer in the glass. It's kind of a yellowy golden colour I'm going to go for, with nice sort of medium sort of levels of carbonation. Not particularly highly carbonated for a lager, really, is it? Nice sort of dense frothy white head. Doesn't look too bad. It's lovely and clear. You can see my fat head through there. Yeah, don't look too sad, really. Perhaps a slight little... No, I wouldn't call it haze, actually. It is just really clear. Maybe just a slight few little bits of sediment floating around in the glass as well. Anyway, let's get the nose in there and check out the aroma of this cheap Helles beer from Lidl's. Slight sweetness coming through. Like, I think it's from the malt. It's like a caramel malt. Like biscuit. It smells a bit like a biscuity caramel malt. It's giving off a little sweetness. It smells a bit earthy as well. A little bit earthy. You tend to get that, I find, with a lot of the UK brewed lagers especially. They have this kind of earthy taste and smell to them sometimes. And it's one of the reasons why I think the UK lagers are not that great in general. But, you can't, there's no getting away from it, really. It seems like they're all like it if they're brewed in the UK. So can't really knock any marks off it for that, because if it's brewed in the UK and it's a lager, they all seem to have that smell about them. A little bit of citrus as well. Don't smell too bad, to be honest with you. Don't smell too bad. Let's see if it tastes any good. Because you're not going to just sit there sniffing it all night, are you? You're going to, you want it to be nice and refreshing and crisp, particularly being a lager. So, yeah, let's chuck her down the neck, and I'll let you know what I think, guys. Cheers, everybody. Bosh. You know what? That's not bad. That is not bad. It's not amazing, but taking into account that it's just £1.19, £1.19 a can, it's better than I thought it was going to be. It's actually better for me than a lot of the macro beers. It really is. it's just got a bit more quality about it. It's a little bit light on the mouthfeel. Carbonation is actually very gentle for a lager, very gentle. Don't know if I'd call that a negative thing, because I'm someone who does burp like a good one. So for me, it's a positive thing, I suppose. But yeah, it is definitely quite gentle carbonation for a lager. Very, very soft feeling. Let's get the negative out of the way first with this one. It does taste a little bit watery for me, but it is only 4%. You know, I wouldn't necessarily put that down to just being cheap. I'd say it's a weak lager. It's 4%. It's a little watery, as most lagers at 4% are. But you know, it does stand out to me a bit as being watery, and it does have that kind of earthiness coming from it, which you get with the UK brewed lagers. And you are getting that with this. It's no exception. It's not as bad as some of the other ones, definitely not. But it's got that kind of, I don't know what it is. I think it's the water. I don't know what it is, but it has that earthy sort of taste to it. Anyway, let's go again and think about some of the positive things, because there are some. It's definitely got for me, like I say, I spotted it in the aroma like a caramel, for me like a biscuity caramel malty backbone to it, which is nice, and it's giving it a sweetness, but it's not too sweet, which, you know, for me that's a good thing. I don't like my sweet beers, and it's giving it a nice sweetness. It's not too much or anything like that. It's not the most flavoursome, but the flavours that are there are quite nice. Like I say, you've got them caramel, sweet sort of caramel, biscuity malts. I'm getting like a bit of a citrus hit as well. I think it might be lemon. It's crisp, it's refreshing, it's doing what you want it to do for a lager. It's got a nice little dryness about it, but like a moorish dryness for me. And almost like a kind of sourness to it. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's not a negative point for me. It's quite a nice kind of, perhaps that's where the dryness has come from. It's like a sour / dryness about this on the finish. It's quite nice. There's no real bitterness, but then it is a Helles. They don't tend to be very bitter. But that dryness with that slight sourness sort of finishes off the beer quite nice for me. Do I think it's worth a buy? I do think it's worth a buy. £1.19p. Come on. It's worth a buy. Give it a try, see what you think. You might absolutely love the stuff. If you're a lager drinker, I don't think you're going to hate it anyway. Especially if you're used to drinking your Macros, your Carlins and your Fosters and all that. I can guarantee you this is better than them. Not all of the Macros, but I'd say this is decent. I would say this is a 7 out of 10 sort of beer for me, and it is worth the money. And if I am in Lidl again, and I don't have many pennies, and I fancy something wet and refreshing, I would not say no to it. I think it's all right. And I think it represents good value for money, which I think that's one of the things people are going to be looking for the most in a beer now. It's not just the taste, it's not just what they like the best, it's what they can bloody afford, innit? Do you know what I mean? And people are going to think, well, I can afford that, and it's all right. And for that reason, it's got to be worth a buy for me. 7 out of 10. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've liked this video, smash the like button down there somewhere and the subscribe button, and check out some more of me content. Till next one, guys. Bye-bye, darlings.